Hello everyone, Potato Picker here, and in this series of videos I'll be talking about the mercs and how to use them while leveling, and when to use each one. So in this episode we're going to be talking about the Act 5 Barbarian. Previously they weren't used very often. He wasn't a horrible mercenary, he was alright. He just wasn't anywhere near as good as the Act 2 Desert Merc. He had a couple of auras that he could use, but nothing that made him stand out. And his damage was alright, but once again, nothing that helped him enough to make him worthwhile. The 2.4 PTR made some changes to him. Actually a lot of changes. He received the most number of changes. Let's go over them. First is the first round of PTR. So they updated each stat/skill gang in each difficulty to match so that there was no disadvantage of leveling up a hell difficulty mercenary versus a normal difficulty mercenary. Life baseline scaling increased, now has the most life compared to other mercenaries. Defense baseline and scaling increased, and the scaling at higher levels was reduced, now has the highest defense baseline compared to other mercenaries. Bash level scaling increased and will no longer be capped at level 80. Stun level scaling increase and will no longer be capped at level 80, and they added battle cry. Some rune words were also added that he could use in the first round of PTR. They include, so we have plague, used in swords, requires a cham, shell, and as a 20% chance to cast level 12 lower resist when struck, 25% chance to cast level 15 Poison Nova on Striking, level 13 to 17 Cleansing Aura when equipped, plus 1 to 2 to all skills, plus 20% increased attack speed, plus 220 to 320 enhanced damage, minus 23% to enemy poison resistance, 0.3% deadly strike based on character level, plus 25% chance to open wounds, and freezes target plus 3. And with all of these, please ignore the indestructible. That's my hero editor, and I don't know how to change it. Next up is Unbend and Will, used in swords. Requires a foul, io, ith, ill, and hell. It is an 18% chance to cast level 18 Taunt on Striking, plus 3 to combat skills, plus 20 to 30% increased attack speed, plus 300 to 350 enhanced damage, plus 9 to maximum damage, plus 50 to attack rating, plus 75% damage to undead, plus 50 attack rating against undead, 8 to 10% life stolen per hit, prevent monster heal, plus 10 to strength, plus 10 to vitality, damage reduced by 8, plus 1 to light radius, and requires minus 20%. Next up is Wisdom, used in helms, which requires a pull, ice, and eld. It's a 33% chance of piercing attack, plus 15 to 25 bonus to attack rating, 4 to 8 mana stolen per hit, plus 20% enhanced defense, plus 10 to energy, 15% slower stamina drain, cannot be frozen, plus 5 mana after each kill, and 15% damage taken goes to mana. So all in all, some great changes. More life, more defense, and more damage from his skills. And the added battle cry, which lowers their damage and defense of enemies. But the devs weren't done yet. Some more massive changes came in the second round of PTR, which include can now gain plus Barbarian skill bonuses from gear, and a new Ferocious Barbarian is available for hire from I'll just say that name. These warriors cannot use two-handed swords, but are well trained in the art of dual wielding, utilizing the frenzy, taunt, and iron skin abilities. They lure enemies in and unleash fierce barrage of attacks. A new barb. The other mercs had a couple different styles to choose from. Rogues had Called of Fire, Desert Mercs had Prayer, Might, Blessed Aim, Defiance, Thorns, and Holy Freeze. Iron Wolves had Fire, Cold, and Lightning. And now Barbarians have Stun or Frenzy to choose from. But now you have to figure out, which one do you want? Which one is better? Well, it's mostly personal choice. They are both good options, and they both have hidden mechanics behind them as well. When you look at the character screen, you can't always believe that number. It's often wrong. The damage can actually be higher than that. Now before I begin and talk too much, I'm going to mention that Macro BioBoy did a lot of testing and made an awesome video explaining the hidden mechanics behind these guys. So a lot of what I mentioned here are things that I learned from that video. I'll post a link to it in the description below. Do make sure to check that video out. And of course, don't forget to like and subscribe for more of his videos. So, we'll start off with the original Barb. They could use two-handed swords, but they could also use one-handed swords. Now on one-handed swords, they do less damage, but he will actually do double damage if he's equipped with a one-handed sword. So you find an awesome one-handed sword that you wish you could give him, you can give it to him, he'll use it, and he'll do double damage. Now the new Frenzy Barb, he can't use two-handed swords. He can only use one-handed swords. But you don't have to give him two swords. It shows him with two swords, and the Frenzy does require two swords, but if you only give him one, he'll act like he has two of the same sword. So he will do double damage, and any stats on that sword are doubled, except for awards. But if you give him a sword that has a 20% chance to cast Decrepify on it, he'll actually have a 40% chance to cast it. He, however, will not have the level 32 to 36 Sanctuary Aura. It will only be a level 16 to 18. So you can save yourself some runes by only making one sword. However, if you want two different swords, you can easily equip him with two different swords to get the different auras. Both style of barbs also have a 5% chance to crit. This is separate from any critical strike and deadly strike chances you give them on their equipment. So they can actually crit 3 times in a single attack, meaning they can do even more damage. The war cries can be problematic for some, however. The stun barb gets battle cry. Now this can be great. It lowers the damage and defense of all nearby enemies to him. However, if you're a Necro, for example, and you're casting Curse, or if you give him Lawbringer for the chance to cast Decrepify, his battle cry will cancel those out and overwrite them. So it can be a battle of the curses. Taunt on the Frenzy Barb, however, only works on a single target. It causes monsters to relentlessly attack, which lowers their attack rating and damage. Since it only works on a single target, it won't override curses on the other monsters. It will only work on the single target. So it does depend a bit on what you're looking for from your war cries. And now that we've gone over the changes and such, but how do you level with them? And how do you get one? And should you even bother? Doing a normal speed run, you won't bother with them. You have to complete the second quest in Act 5. Running around to rescue the barbs just isn't worth it. If you're not doing a normal speed run, they can be worth getting. Though by the time you get them, you'll probably be in around level 26 most likely, which can be a bit of a disadvantage. You might already have your other mercs equipped and you'll be happy with them, which is fine, though it does give you time to keep an eye out for a sword along the way, or a helm. Anyways, these guys do get into the mix of things, so you're going to want to equip them with things with lifesteal. So a simple sword with life leech can go a long way. So things like honor, King's Grace, and strength are great low-level rune words to make. Life leech and crushing blow or deadly strike are great. Once you're a higher level and you can afford rune words like Unbend and Will, that will go a very long ways. Requires a Fallon and IO, a bit expensive for some, but nothing too bad. For armor, stealth is alright, you can never go wrong with stealth. Once you're a higher level, you'll want something with resistances as well. So something like Treachery, or Lionheart, or Duriel Shell. Or if you want, you can now make the Myth Rune Word. They are able to use items that add plus to skills. So you'll want to pair them with a helm that has some decent resistances. Endgame, Fortitude is great. For helms, keep your eyes open for Barbarian helms. He is able to wear barb equipment now, so if you find a socketed barb helm that you like, you can make something like lore for early game. Once you're a bit richer and a higher level, G-Face, Vampire's Gaze, Rockstopper are all great options. So all in all, the barbs are in a great position now. In all honesty, I think you can see the Frenzy Barb being used the most. He's tanky thanks to the buffs that the barb's got, and he has iron skin. He also has a lot of sword options as well. Endgame, he can take down Ubers on his own. You'll be seeing fewer Act 2 Desert Mercs and more Barbarians than ever before. Well, thank you for watching. Comment down below on what you think of the new Act 5 Barbarian Mercs. If you like what you saw, please don't forget to like and subscribe. And I hope to see you in the next video. Thank you, and goodbye.